Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 12th and last talk of the 2022 Winter Speaker Series hosted by Nepean Sailing Club. My name is Park Davis, and I'm going to be your MC tonight. On behalf of all of us that have had a part of making these presentations to you this past winter, we want to thank our audience for making this all worthwhile, for all your questions and your comments, and mostly for your participation in all that you've done. Remember, we're going to be back next winter, so if you'd like to speak, or if you know someone who has a story or experience to tell, please contact any of us. Now, in the chat section below your screen, you'll see our contact email if you want to get in touch with us. Now, just like on TV, when the season is over, it's time for reruns. That's the time it is right now. All the talks for the past 2 seasons were recorded. So if you want to refer back to any of the things you've heard before, or perhaps that you missed before, just refer back to them by going to Nepean Sailing Club and searching on YouTube, and you'll be able to go into them and have a look. So now for something a little bit different, I'm going to ask David Naismith, our Commodore at Nepean Sailing Club, to turn his camera on and mic and to say a few words. David, over to you.
Thanks, Park. Good evening, everybody. It's my pleasure to, I guess, close out the Winter Speaker Series for this year. Just as a reminder to everyone, this is actually 16 years that we've been running the Winter Speaking Series. And I think that Park has probably been involved in all of those 16 years, or at least part of it, over that time. These talks are designed to just simply share information to fellow sailors and cruisers and boaters, and get us sort of engaged with the club over the course of the winter when it's relatively slow. And lately, we've actually been also using the Winter Speaker Series as a way to get donations for the Legacy Fund. The Legacy Fund, if you're not familiar with it, is actually the fund that we use to support our able sailors, our youth sailors, and as well as adult sailors when they take the program to learn to sail, as well as in competition nationally, internationally, and locally. So it's an important fund to promote the sport of sailing for our club. So those of you who committed or donated to the Legacy Fund, thank you very much. The talks are free, obviously. But that donation goes a long way to helping youth and able sailors and our programs. We typically see about 50 to 90 participants during the Winter Speaker Series in the dead of winter, so that's actually very, very good. And it's covered a variety of topics, everything from, as you'll see tonight, the racing program, the fleet program, to harbor, to cruising stories, and everything in between. So it's been quite useful, I think, for a lot of our members. It's also been good for new members to learn about how to run our harbor and what facilities are available to use. And I think about a quarter of the subscribers have been new members, which is good news from my perspective. Bottom line is these talks don't actually just happen. So they're put together by a core team of really dedicated volunteers. And I'd like to ask that core team to turn on the cameras, please, so we can see them. Perfect. It actually worked. I can't believe this. So I would like to extend on behalf of our club and the board of directors a huge thank you to each of you. And I'm going to just walk through quickly what each of these folks do for our club. First, I'll start with Tony Wright, who is the webmaster, and he's also the person who publicizes the talks on our webpage and other venues. And recently he's become, because of COVID, the Zoom master, and this year the Eventbrite master. So you can basically call Tony the master. So Tony, thank you for everything you're doing. Second one is Stephen Kidd. Stephen Kidd is relatively new to the program, but he is a longtime member and very recognizable for those of us at the club for a while. And Stephen works with scheduling and finding the speakers, and actually finding the speakers, cajoling them and getting them lined up to come and talk during these nights is no small task. Stephen also works behind the scenes with Tony and is the backup master of ceremonies when Park is unable to do it. So Stephen, thank you very much for what you're doing for the Winter Speaker Series. Next is Ron Evans. Ron works as the basically the recorder who puts these videos on our YouTube channel and does all the editing underneath to make it look smooth and slick. And Ron's a relatively new member of the team, but has been doing some great work for us getting the NSC YouTube channel up and running. So Ron, thank you very much. So that's the core team. Oh, then there's Park. Yes, Park Davis, who has been doing this for quite a long time and is very recognizable to all of us members, also your master of ceremonies, and basically the doer of just about everything under the sun at NSC. So Park, thank you. I'd also like to recognize all the speakers we've had over the last 12 sessions this year. Dominic Goodwill being the last one tonight, and I'm sure he's going to be absolutely enthralling when he talks about fleet activities. No pressure, Dominic. I'd like to thank all those speakers. And lastly, I'd like to thank all of the participants, all of you in the audience, because if you're not here, then there's no point doing these. So thank you very much for showing up. And for those of you who donated towards the Legacy Fund, a big thank you on behalf of the club. That's it.
Thank you very much, David. That's very nice. So without any further ado, let's go ahead with tonight's presentation. You already know it's going to be Dominic Goodwill, the NSC Fleet Captain. There he is. And he's titled his talk, Welcome to the 2022 Sailing Season. He's going to describe all the ways to participate in boating activities, racing and cruising at the Nepean Sailing Club. And actually that racing program includes many other clubs in the area. So pre-COVID, we held about 300 interclub races, including boats from NSC, BYC, and CVRG, Almer. So it's hard to believe when I first read this, but that was the most of any operation in North America. So perhaps you can talk about that as well a little bit, Dominic. This summer, we hope we can say it's post-COVID. We keep keeping our fingers crossed. Lac Deschenes has 42 kilometers of water and a good 6-month season. Dominic's going to say full speed ahead. Let's get racing. Let's get cruising. So I'm going to turn things over to you, Dominic, and let you go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Park. You should be seeing a full screen view of the presentation. Is that correct? Give me a confirm.
Yes.
Can you, Park? Okay, very
Yes.
good. Hi, I'm Dominic Goodwill. I'm the fleet captain at Nepean Sailing Club. Fleet captain, that means my role is, it's a volunteer role. It's to facilitate all the organized boating and sailing activities, except those organized by the sail training and able sail side of the fence. So I'm going to talk through activities on the water in the 2022 season. So where are we at? 2022, full steam ahead. With the wind is behind us currently. We all know what's going on out there, but it looks like we're full steam ahead. We're basically returning to normal. So it's back. Baskins Beach Upriver Weekend, it's back. That's organized by the social team, in fact. A full season of normal racing. There will be a feast after Turkey Trot, a feast gathering after Turkey Trot. So returning to normal there. Things we've improved. We've improved the dinghy rental. We've improved and expanded the fleet racing practice to help people who are less familiar with racing get more comfortable. And we've improved and reorganized the operations volunteers training and staff training for fleet operations. New this year, or newly pushed, we have our sailing activities manager, Sean, who's been with us for a couple of years now, as a point of contact to address some of these questions. And we have a new regatta, the Club Championship this year. So it's everything you've always had, and we've added more. So the communication part, we love to talk about boating. So here's how to find information. Here's how to find people. So the NSC website search box is pretty strong. So if we talk about, I'm going to talk about a bunch of activities today. So if you put their name into the search box, they'll pop up. suitable links to find them. You can also find a lot of the activities that are time-based or date-based on the NSC calendar, which is a very strong resource. Sean Batten is our sailing activities manager. There he is with his wife and kids. He kindly provided me this picture. He loves to talk about boating activities, what boat to buy, training, people looking for crew to help connect people. So he can be a point of contact for everybody on all those kind of practical questions. And he either knows answers or he will connect you to the right volunteer in most cases, or sometimes the right staff member to help you with those questions. Then we have the fleet committee, which is 30 wonderful volunteers that work with me closely. They're enthusiasts for activities and types of boats. So you can find them by searching on fleet committee. And when you do, you'll find a list, and then you can get their addresses from the NSC Blue Book or contact Sean to get through to any others. Each of them is assigned to a particular role. Like there's one person is a specialist for Tanza 22s. There's one person who's a specialist for the Nod Regatta. There's one person who's a couple of people specialists for fleet training. So you can work out who's the touch point for anything there, and you can find them. So that's great ways to find people and information. So the activities this year. Well, here is the river. This has not changed. I was able to reuse this 4 years ago. There's been no geographic changes. We have 44 kilometers navigable, and we're 3 kilometers wide at around the sailing club. And we're going to mention a couple of places later in this presentation. We're going to mention Baskins Beach. We're going to mention Constance Bay. We're going to mention Portico. We're going to mention Pinneys, and of course, we're going to mention our very own lake here. So that's our lake. And our river, and here's some people enjoying it in many different aspects of boating. So let me talk about different ways that we can collectively and individually enjoy the river. So this is organized. I gave this presentation in 2019, just before all the wheels fell off, but there we are. And I'm organized it in this way to help guide you through. We're going to talk about just going boating. This is brief. We're going to talk about ways to join in a communal activity, and we're going to talk about ways to participate in much more structured activities. So these are the three areas of boating activities on our lake. So let me start with the first. Just go boating. So it's kind of easy. This is short. If you have a boat or you have access to a boat or a friend, just go sailing or boating, go fishing, sunset anchoring, go up to the island. Just get out there, enjoy. It's a beautiful stretch of water, relatively safe and sheltered, with easy places to anchor, easy places to find harbor and safety if things get gnarly out there. And there's many ways you can enjoy it. You can day sail in a simpler boat. You can have a more sophisticated vessel with a big crew. You can have a more sporty and wet activity, depending on your taste. There's plenty of places upriver. There's Pinneys to go and visit or go overnight. There's Constance Bay is a great destination, provided you're watching carefully on navigational charts. Port of Call and Moore Island for the more ambitious, kind of almost at the far end. So, I encourage you, just go boating. You don't need my help for that, unless you're, in terms of organizing, get out there and enjoy our beautiful stretch of water. Let me talk about some more organized activities. So these are activities listed here. I'm going to touch on several of them, but not every single one. So these are activities that are sort of joining in with no forms, no fees, in most cases, no registration, no paperwork, those kind of things. So this is one of my favorite events. This is the Sail Pass, which is the club's celebration of itself and of boating, and this is in the mid-June timeframe. All the dates on the calendar. I'm not going to go through dates tonight. Much easier that you find the correct information from the calendar. It's open to powerboats, sailboats, kayaks, stand-up paddleboards, any kind of vessel. We have the club barge, the works barge, has been out there a few times, so I guess that counts as power. And you simply congregate up roughly around sea mark, and then we sail in a procession and salute our Commodore David, who we saw at the top of the meeting, who'll be waiting here and waving him. And then we have a party on land, helped by the other directors and portfolios in the club. So I want you there this year. We have 50 boats. I want 65 this year. And there's not, it's just such fun. Any kind of boat. And what's more, because we all go out at the same time, we all gather by the lawn. We will put you on a boat. We will find you a boat to go on if you don't have one. So you just have to show up. You will get out. I personally guarantee that, because if nothing, I've got several places on my boat. So that's happening in June. It's a wonderful celebration. The Bring on the Bay charity swim is back, which is a charitable activity hosted by several of the volunteers, actually, who also host this speaker series session. And that's in a early July timeframe, where we've had up to 800 swimmers competing and participating. They swim from Nepean Sailing Club to Britannia Sailing Club, and there's also a shorter version for those who can't do the full 3.5 kilometers, I believe it is. There is a boater opportunity here. So, and I go out every year in my kayak for this one as a sort of support vessel to help keep an eye on the progress of the swimmers. And we anchor a couple of dozen keel boats from volunteers all along the course, keel boats and power boats. So that there's a chance for you in whatever kind of vessel you have, power, sail, kayak, or stand-up paddleboard, to participate in this. The next one is a new opportunity. An upriver mooring shepherd where we came up with. It's for power boats or sailboats to increase confidence for upriver anchoring. And it's the point that several people have made to me that, you know, they'd like to go upriver and moor. This is Pinnies, or they may want to go to Constance Bay, where the navigation is a little bit tricky, but they don't quite know how to do it. You know, how to anchor, where's safe, where's the entry and exit channels, and so on and so on. So what we want to do here is to do it on scheduled weekends, to have a boater up there who is knowledgeable person who overnights upriver, you know, maybe to be there from the Friday night to the Saturday evening to guide people in. Right now the program will launch if I can get a knowledgeable boater who overnights upriver. So I'm looking for someone to help out to take that role. So if you're interested, contact me, fleet@nc.ca. So I think that would be useful to give people more confidence and experience at anchoring at the various beautiful moorings upriver. The Baskins Beach weekend, which comes out of our social side of the club, that is in August. And any kind of vessel, and even get there by land, because there's a beach part to it, or you can get there by land and kayak out. All sorts of boating and non-boating ways to participate. So people boat up there, anchor for the weekend, and there's singing, there's dancing, there's barbecues, there's partying, and there's waking up too early in the morning the next day to face the sail home. So we're back. That's happening again. So look for that out of the social team. A great chance to do a community social boating activity. Our first race that I'm going to mention, or the first race I'm going to mention today, this is the most stupid race we have, and I've done it, so I speak from experience. We take the smallest boats that the club has, which is the little open bicks, and we put the biggest people like me or any other adults, or, well, I know the 18-year-olds as well have a bit of an advantage because they fit in these things. And you race around the harbor where the wind is silly. And that's back this year in the middle of summer. I don't remember the date exactly. And we have heats, and we have prize for the best racer. It's in the harbor, so it's called the Harbor Masters race. And maybe the Harbor Master will show up. Maybe. So that's a fun event. Obviously, we're providing the boats, and there's no charge, no cost, no registration. Just show up. So it's really straightforward. We probably make you sign a waiver because that's the way we roll. Weekday social sailing. This is a program we had a number of years back, and it kind of evaporated. And we're looking to revive it, but in a more organized way, where we can totally guarantee that there will be boats for you to go on. So we're looking to do this in a much more structured way. So I want to reach out to people, and I need 4 keelboat owners who say, yeah, I can be there on whichever day. We might perhaps do, one morning every 2 weeks or something of that kind of level. It's not going to be every week. That's just too much commitment. So maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks. So we need 4 keelboat owners and 1 enthusiastic coordinator who can commit to make this happen. And then people without boats can come and hop on. I appreciate COVID is very much still out there. So certain negotiations and behaviors will be needed, and people will be comfortable or not. And that's perfectly fine to make your own call on that. But it's time to bring this program back, but we're going to do it in a structured and organized way so you can be confident that if you show up, there will be a vessel there. We may meet up, or we may use some electronics to help with that one. So if you can help with that, again, let me know. Program won't run unless I have these people come and find me. I have no way to find these people myself. Turkey Trot in Thanksgiving is our closeout of the year, and it's the best event because we get all categories of sailing boats. This is just for sailing vessels going around, and they go around the course. So they go up here, go around the circle twice if the wind is fair, and once if it's flat. And it's a pursuit. What it means is the slow boats start first, the fast boats start at last, and theoretically everybody gets to finish at the same time. Then we all go on land, and led by volunteers, we'll be back this year to a turkey self-serve, self-cooked buffet. I'm hoping that's my hope, which is a wonderful place to celebrate as a community and as a family. It's a kind of race, but it's also social. So to help this year, we've introduced a new feature. Here is the new feature. I know it looks like a Ukrainian flag. It's not. It's actually it's a sailing flag, and this is our rookie racers flag, which we've introduced this year. So if you are not comfortable getting in tight quarters with race boats on such an event, or indeed if you're out at a weeknight race and you want to be kind of given a bit of your own space, you can get this flag. You can buy this flag from the office, or you can find your own. You fly this, and it's like a learner's signal to say to people, hey, I plan to follow the rules because I know everything's right, but I may not quite know where I'm going. So, if you can give me some space, it would be awesome. So that's the Rookie Racers flag. You can find that by searching on the website. And that, it'll make you, add a little more comfort to the people that just want to sort of go around the circle and have a great time. So Turkey Trot, again, I target another 15 extra boats. So I want to get us up past 60 boats because it's such a brilliant activity. And you've got all season to plan how you want to do that. You can go fast, you can go slow, it's all fine. The final sort of just join in. This one does, you do have to fill in a form to declare your finish, but other than that, there's no fee associated with it. It's the Jacqueline River Challenge, which is the up and down the river between specific marks, which in the instructions you'll find online, as fast as you can. And you can go anytime from May 1st to, I think it's October, end of October. I think that's right. Anytime, day or night that you want, whenever you think the wind's best, so you can lay down the best time. You bring whatever sailing vessel you want, from a laser to a 31-foot trimaran or anything you please, and there's a fastest absolute time, and there's a fastest time on corrected mathematics. So that's a great chance to go when there's wind, which, as we know, can be a challenge on our river sometimes. So that's the Jacques Adam River Challenge, named after a late and great sailor of our club. So look out for that one, and trying to lay down the best time. And we're going to have a chalkboard or a post board so people can see how they're doing. All right, the final area for activities are the more structured ones. So let me talk through some of the more structured activities. The dinghy rental. I'm not going to talk about Crew Bank, but the Crew Bank is a place on the website where you can post if you're looking for someone to join you on your boat for social or racing boating, or if you want to try and find someone to buddy up with, you can post yourself there. It's not the only method, but it is certainly a method. Able Sail offered by our sail training program. I'm not going to talk about that one tonight specifically, but I'm going to talk about some of these others. The dinghy rental. So we started this 4 or 3 years ago in a kind of test mode, and this year we're going to substantially improve the program in ways that I'm going to talk about in a moment. So these are some of the boats available. So we have a Hobie Bravo available, which is a beautiful little beach, kind of tiny beach catamaran. We have lasers. We have a couple of sizes of rigs for people of different size and sailing skill. Take the full size rig or the smaller rig. It can still go upside down. No, it's a dinghy. We have picos, little picos, which are often used for kids training, but totally can be used for adults. This is in fact Sir Ben Ainsley himself, not sailing at our club, but just to prove that a fairly large grown-up can totally sail the laser pico. So that's a fun little boat, relatively light in terms of power. So you know, if you want to take it easy or not so experienced, that's a good choice. And we also have stand-up paddle boards, also available for rent. So that's a dinghy rental. The improvements from previous seasons, we now have a dedicated space. We have high quality maintenance, both staff-led and volunteer supported for that. We have more variety of boats, as I've just shown you. We are now going to be open for dinghy rental for pretty much the whole season, so longer season, and we haven't changed the price. So that's some improvements to that program. It's for any type of member at NSC, including the people who've taken advantage boating courses, who therefore have acquired an NSC membership for the year. There is no motor skills test required, of course, before we let you go out there unescorted in a little boat. So there is a skills requirement. So that's an opportunity if you want to try a little boat, because you want to give it a go, or you just want to get on some kind of boat, or you want to keep going after some training. Or you're an adult who has a keelboat and wants to take your kid out on a little one for some fun. All good possibilities there. Midnight Madness. This is one of our more entertaining proper races. So this is an actual race. And it's run at after dark, not quite at midnight. And you're going to navigate around up near the Olympic Circle is where we run this, which is that circle of marks that I showed you on the map at the beginning. And you navigate around by your running lights and some decorative lights, and our race bosuns light up all the racing marks for you like Christmas trees. And it's great to get out from some after dark sailing, which is something that a lot of us don't do a lot of the time. So that's and it's fun, but it's it's proper racing. Starting after dark on the start line is quite entertaining. So that's a great opportunity for a different event. And no fee for that. It's part of being a member of this organization. It's open to boats from other clubs, not just Nepean, as well. We do tend to meet up at Nepean, the same club at the beginning to kind of work out where we're going to go. So that's open to everyone. Just keelboats, no dinghies. It's not appropriate to put a dinghy out there after dark next to big boats. The Rust Round the Buoys, the Retired and Underemployed Sailors Trophy. This is an operation hosted by our good friends at Britannia on a weekday afternoon, which I believe is Wednesdays, and they run a whole series of relatively informal races for people who can make it out in the afternoon, and that's been extremely successful over the last since it started over the last few years. So it's all handicap based racing, boats of all kind, and there's some scoring goes on so that it's your boat speed is compensated, and that's a good afternoon activity in a slightly less structured racing format. So it's called the Retired and Underemployed Sailors Trophy. So I urge you to check that one out. The next one to put up is the long distance races. So we already mentioned the Jacques Adam River Challenge, which is kind of any time the whole season at your personal timing. And then we have more structured races that are at very specific times, and all the times for this can be found on our sailing instructions, which are posted on the website, and you can also find what date it's going to be. They're all these long distance race dates are posted on the NSC calendar. So the way this works is you start down here at I think they all start at P Mark, which is just outside our harbour, and you sail to a identified mark, for example, Queen's Park, and you sail back, and you report your times through a little web form, and we have various awards for people who made it there and back in the shortest actual time, and for those who made it back there and back in the best handicap time. So there's several Queen's Park races. 3, I think. There's at least one to Pinny's Point. 20-mile race might actually be using pennies now. I think it's shrank from 20 miles for various administrative reasons. There's some longer races for the more ambitious amongst us. Any kind of boat can play. Can be a big boat, can be a little boat. I've absolutely seen lasers doing at least the Queen's Park race and back, possibly longer, I'm not sure. So go out and enjoy in whichever kind of sailing boat you have. I've mentioned a couple of times handicapping. Let me just mention how that works. For those of golf, you're handicapped based on how good you are as an individual. That's not the way we do it for sailing. What we do for sailing is we do it based on how good your type of boat is. So we look at the type of boat and its various parameters, and whether its capability of sails and so on. And there's records have been accumulated over many years by an organization that we work with that keeps all the results from all the boats and works out from that which ones should be given more time, which ones should be given less time handicap. And there's different organizations do that for keel boats, and there's also organizations that do that for the little boats. So we call this the Perth handicap and the Portsmouth handicap and the small skiff and skiff. There's also skiff and cat handicapping. So we have a wonderful volunteer who looks after that math for us and then gives it to our scorers. And we have a wonderful group and a very, very professional and solid group of volunteer scorers who put together all the scores for us. So there's an event coming up in a couple of weeks for sail measuring. And you can also go and talk, the handicapper will be there. So you can talk to them about how to fill in your handicapping form if you want some help. There's a form we ask you to fill in to describe your boat. So the handicapper will be there and he can walk you through any questions you have on how to get your boat registered for racing and get your boat handicapped. The participating in these, we do need you to pre-register. It's partly for our own liability and partly so we know who to score. So it's to protect the clubs, both Britannia and Nepean, because we co-organize all of these, and also to make sure that you can get scored. So you do need to pre-register for this activity. So it is a little more structured. Then we have weeknight racing. So jointly between Nepean and Britannia, we have the largest racing program in North America, measured in terms of races run. Back in 2018, which was our last normal season, or most recent normal season, we completed and scored 300 races between us, just on the weeknights and the frostbite, which is the fall afternoons. That's not counting the regattas, which was another couple hundred. So just in our weeknight series, we have a huge program. We have races of many different types of boats. And we're actually going to expand some of that this year a little bit, which I will mention in a moment. So we have races of one design. That's all boats of the same type. I think these are CNC 27s, all racing together without handicap because they're identical boats nominally. And so it's whoever crosses the line first wins. We have handicap racing in boats of different sizes. Mixed fleets generally. Again, we use the handicapping system so that it's all as fair as can be. It's never perfect, but it's as fair as can be. So we have different races. We have races where you will use a spinnaker, and we have races where you are not permitted to use a spinnaker. To make that a little easier in your life. So you can find all these races on the calendar. We run races for women's keelboating on Monday evening at the special request of the women. We run races on Tuesday for keelboats without using, get this right. We do races on Tuesday evening at keelboats in mixed handicap fleets using spinnakers. We run races on Wednesdays for catamarans and dinghies, and that also includes or adds in the Martin 16 able sailors and the 2.4 mini keelboats. So they all sail on Wednesday. So if that's your kind of boat, that's Wednesdays for you. And on Thursdays, we run the one design races. So that's the keelboats with spinnakers, all identical. So we run several categories or several classes of keelboats at that time. Plus, we also run a what we call a jib and main, a white sail handicap racing on Thursdays for keelboats who don't wish to use spinnaker and are of mixed types. So, and that tends to be a little bit easier introduction because no spinnaker, so it's a little bit easier to participate in. We call that the jam, the jib and main sailing. That's a great place to start if you're new to racing a bigger boat. Or on Wednesday, come and race a little boat. We include mixed dinghies. So we had 420s, we've had RS Aero, we've had a Laser, Albacore Farball, 505, all sorts of boats go out on Wednesday. So pretty much any small sailing boat can come and play. We have I-14, we have F-18 catamarans, all sorts of things. There's opportunity for lots of types of boats now. So that's the weeknight racing. As I say, we have a very large program now. It extends into the fall with 3 Sunday afternoons of what we call frostbite races in the fall, and we offer dinghies, we offer spinnaker boats, and we offer non-spinnaker keelboats for the frostbite. And then our most formal and most structured and kind of lighthouse events are our regattas. And we have 5 this year. So we start off in early June with the Skiff and Cat Grand Prix. That then leads in a couple weeks later to the Nepean One Design, which is our largest event of the year, which is for One Design keelboats on One Design dinghies. The National Capital Cup is sailed by able sailors in Martin 16s, and that's in July. And in the fall, in September, we have Fanfare, a fantastic fall regatta, which is for little boats of numerous sizes, catamarans, possibly catamarans and dinghies, all welcome at Fanfare. So these you probably have heard of before. Brand new this year. and Peter Wood and Aaron Wong Singh, I applaud them for putting the effort into this. The Club Championship, our first one that I'm aware of. And so that's going to be in, I think it's August timeframe. And each racing fleet in the club will nominate someone to represent them and to be their champion, as it were, like their knight, their champion knight. And those people will compete against each other on a level basis in the 2.4 MR, 2.4 meter little keelboats, very kindly lent by our members who own those boats. So that's going to be in August. It's very exciting, and to crown the best sailor of the club. So that'll be a great new opportunity for bragging rights. So the people here who are from racing fleets like the Vipers fleet, or the Martin 16 fleet, or the Perth Division 2 fleet, or the Jam Div 3 fleet, work out over the early summer who's going to represent you and bring bragging rights back to your group. So that's a new one we're running this year. We're starting this year. Okay. We asked at the top, do you have good contacts to talk about boating opportunities? And the answer was not a resounding yes in some cases, well, not a surprise. So, and indeed, whether you had a boat. So, let me go back. So, no worries. If you don't have a boat, these activities are guaranteed to get you on a boat. And these communities are places who would love to talk to you about boats and boatings and engaging you and finding you solutions, because these people love to talk. So let's go through this side. So each of these events, you will be able to get on a boat. Like at Sail Pass, for example, or Midnight Madness, or Turkey Trot. I will guarantee to put you on someone's boat with due negotiation and respect, because I know we're very choosy as with COVID as to who we hang out with. So those are times where we'll help get you on someone at Baskins Beach. I think the organizers will be more than delighted to connect you with someone, or you can just drive up there and borrow someone's kayak and go around the boats and hop on for a beverage. So there's opportunities to get on a boat there. Harbour Masters Race, we supply the boats. You show up and you sail them as badly as I do with those tiny boats in that crazy wind up and down the harbour. Weekday social sailing, we talked about. I'm trying to energize that one. Here's one as well to get you on a boat. This one will get you on the race committee boats, either the Andy Hayden, the larger powerboat, or the little zoomy Triumph that zooms around drop arcs. So race committee volunteering. It's also a great way to get in touch and talk to people, because when people are running races, while the races are going round and round and round, everybody who's out there just talks about boats. But it's a great place to hook up and chat with people in a very informal way where they can't get away from you, so they have to talk to you. So look for the race committee volunteer, sign up. It's open to, it's primarily NSC members, but it is certainly non-members totally do sign up from time to time, and that's perfectly fine, because we want to engage with you. If you're racing, then you have to, we need you to sign up for race committee volunteering so that we get you out there. So it is a requirement to do this if you're a racer. Able Sail has a great program for people in that community, so I point you over to them. And of course, sail training for the youth and for the adults is offered at for youth is offered at our sailing school and the other sailing organizations around the lake. Sail training for adults at Nepean is offered through our partners at Advantage Boating, and they also offer keelboat sail share for the use of keelboats. So obviously there's a fee associated to that and a certain skill level. And we talked about dinghy rental. So all these methods will get you, guaranteed to get you on a boat of one kind or another if you're currently stuck for a vessel. For connections, so this is the place to go for talk about boating connections. It's one of Sean's jobs is to know everything, at least the basis of every activity, and who to connect you with, who may be lots of the volunteers. You can connect with the fleet committee volunteers directly. Find them on the website. Just search Fleet committee, and you'll find the whole list and what they're specialized and interested in. You can totally sign up in Crewbank. We need you to, so we can make sure that we get all the races filled up as much as possible. It's not totally successful for people looking for boats, so certainly do that because it's really easy. But then follow up directly. Person to person is a way to follow up on that one. So that will give you a way to try and kind of connect with a lot of these activities. I just have, I think, 3 more pictures to show here. Fleet training, we've got a whole renewed focus and energy on that this year. So fleet provides training related to racing operations and racing skills. So these are the specific areas of training that fleet coordinates and looks after. So I just find it by looking under fleet training in the search, you'll find this menu of opportunities that we've presented. So these are great ways to increase your volunteering skills around technical stuff. So things like running races, how to lay marks out on the water, safe use of the club's powerboats. This is just for some key volunteers. This is not like open. This one's not open. All these are open to everybody except this one's open to some targeted individuals. So a bunch of these have happened over the winter or into the spring. We're going to offer these generally year by year. So if one speaks your mind, I'll look for most of these to be offered roughly on a yearly or 2 yearly basis. So watch out for those. By Christmas, we're advertising those, and a lot of them some of these courses happen through the winter. This one's happening at the end of May. This is a great chance to really learn the ins and outs of the on-water operations of racing. And then we're going to have a less formal one in August of familiarization with how to drop the race marks. Be a great chance to tie some knots, drop some anchors in, and zoom around the lake in a motorboat. Practice your radio skills. Practice how to read the wind. So we have a very formal course happening in May, and then we're going to have a sort of an open evening in August, which we'll advertise later. And then these are some racing skills practice opportunities. The virtual racing that happened over the winter. Stephen Kidd, who you met earlier, was one of the people helping that. They had about 15 or so people working, doing the virtual racing through the winter. North Sea Racing Tactics was more of an online activity this year. Hopefully we'll be back in person next year. I just want to mention these ones. We're having, again, as before, we're having keelboat race practice in the early part of the season for 3 evenings, 3 Fridays, and that's where, if you're completely new to racing in your keelboat, come out and we'll teach you the basics of where to start, which way to go, where to turn left, when to turn right. It's also a great chance for those with higher skill to get 3 or 4 starts banged off, just to take a few seconds off their timing sequence. So opportunities at both ends of the spectrum. And we're going to follow that up with Monday night racing for beginners, strictly for beginners. And this is going to be a time trial event. So you don't have a mass start. So you have a starting window of quite a few minutes. You start in and you go around the course, as best you can sail it. And you see if you can sail, race faster than everybody else on the corrected time. The advantage of that is, you don't have to deal with the complexity of everybody starts together, which obviously you do in most of the races. So that's a new thing we're going to run. That's strictly for beginners. And I'm going to mention in a moment, we need some help with that. We need some volunteers to help with those things. And the final one here is a dinghy race training via rental dinghies. So if you want to participate in the dinghy rental activity, and you qualify for that by passing the skills testing, then we're going to run racing training in those little boats, so you can learn to race, and then you'll be in a good position to join us on a Wednesday night. So these are great for volunteering skills on the sort of technical stuff related to fleet ops, and these are great for boating skills to make you go a little faster and enjoy participating more. This is, outside of the actual sail training stuff that the sail training teams do, and the learn to cruise and such things like that from the Advantage Boating and Navigation. So you can find all that stuff in their portfolios. So, to put together, there's a couple of points where I mentioned where we need your help, because we don't yet have everything organized. We're great, we're well organized on the racing, as always, and on some of the activities, and we need your help in a couple of areas. So, as mentioned, upriver mooring shepherd, we need a knowledgeable boater who overnights upriver to say, yeah, I can coordinate and I can perform that role and help with schedule some specific weekends. So it's to schedule maybe 3 or 4 specific weekends where you'll be available upriver to help to be the shepherd. We talked about weekday social sailing, where we need several keelboat owners plus 1 enthusiastic coordinator to put that together to the benefit of themselves and to the benefit of people who may not have access to a boat and want to be able to get out there and enjoy the river in a social way. Race mentor. So this is a new one to increase the confidence in new to racing sailors. So I spoke about the race practices and the beginner racing for keelboats. The dates of that are on the calendar. So that's already scheduled. So the activity is scheduled, and it's definitely happening, and it's all well organized. But we'd like to grow it a bit. We'd like to find several experienced racers who can volunteer to go on other people's boats to show them ropes. I think I did that for Stephen once several years ago. In fact, I remember now. It worked pretty good. He now sails every race. This awesome result.
It was awesome help.
And it totally produced the right result. So it works. So some experienced racers to do that, and it would also be good to get some skippers, experienced skippers, to host a newbie crew. Would be also great to have out there. So, take them out and introduce them to these activities. So that's opportunities there. My good friend Erin O'Connor, who's our membership director, is looking to reestablish the membership mentor activity. So she asked me to push this one. I'm very happy to, which is to guide newer members through the ins and outs of the club. So that, help you connect to not just all the boating activities I showed you here, but, harbor activities and, and what are the ins and outs of using our harbor and our digger yard and our social activities and our clubhouse and so on and so on. So that she needs a number of established members who kind of know how the place works to help her be paired up with newer members to guide them. It's informally. It's not like every night kind of thing. It's, meet them once or twice and be a touch point to them. So again, that will help with the communication of some of these opportunities. So finally, to sort of review a couple of the most interesting things. If you do just one activity this year, then one communal boating activity, and the whole portfolio of sociable sailing, racing, hardcore racing, training. If you do just one communal boating activity this year, I urge you, and I would love you to do one of these. If you just sort of, if that's your touch point. So come to the sail past in June if you're an NSC member. It's the boating procession on the water, and then a party afterwards back at the clubhouse. I didn't mention it as we went through, but the little boat picnic at Lac Deschenes, which is in July. We started that last year. We're sending little boats up. So this is boats coming from all clubs. So whichever club you're at, sail up. They served us caviar. I asked you last year. It was amazing. Good reception we got there, and their picnic on the Lac Deschenes Sailing Club lawn. The Baskins Beach upriver sail and overnight and evening party in August, and the Turkey Trot in Thanksgiving, where we celebrate our club. This one's open to all clubs as well to come and join us. Sail twice around the circle, and then we come back to the club and feast on turkey and all the trimmings. So if you do just choose one activity this year. So Tony, pop up our final survey. So will we see you at one of these? I think we just put 3 of them, but any of these. Will we see you at one of these activities this year? Totally, that sounds awesome. Hopefully that's what everyone's going to go for, because this is great and easy and fun activities to go for. As I said, in most of these cases, we can totally help you jump on a boat if you just show up, or you just help us contact the organizers, and they're going to help you out. So great. So if I just see one area of growth in terms of activity this year, this is what I'd be more than happy to see. So what do we got? Totally, that sounds awesome. All right. Right. I'm going to hold you to that. I think we probably collected names, so I'm going to hold you to that. So, let's get 25% growth this year in these things is totally what I'm looking for, and I expect it'll be great fun. So that's what we got. It's full steam ahead, as we said. We're back with everything. We've improved some things we needed to improve, and we have some new or new clarification, perhaps, of how to contact us. With Sean, who's been here with a couple of years, and some other points of contact. We got a new championship where you can get bragging rights for your fleet. It's everything you always had and more. And with that, I yield the floor.
I know what I was supposed to be trying to do, but my computer was not cooperating. So thank you very much, Dominic. While people are thinking about any questions for you, I guess I'll just go back and bring up 2 items that you referred to and just say how much fun they are for me when I participated. First one is the Harbor Masters race last year. And while you said this is the silliest race, all I can say is you can say that again, because not only is big people in little boats too much, I decided that a big person like me should take my 7-year-old grandson. And so the 2 of us double teamed this. And
I'm not sure the rules actually allow that. I don't know. Were you disqualified for that, actually?
I certainly was not. And I wasn't last. I was 3rd, actually.
Very good.
And I had great embarrassment because my 7-year-old grandson noticed that David Naismith, our Commodore, was behind us, and he spent the whole of the race up and down the harbor teasing David, saying, "Hey, that dude's behind us. Hey, what's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of fun. My biggest problem was making sure that the 7-year-old did not end up in the water and then never sail again. So I was a little bit concerned as well. By the way, that boat has no transom, so there's lots of water in the boat, and it's very easy to turn it over with a person my weight in it. So in any case, it's a lot of fun.
It's a fun little event, and you got the peanut gallery watching as well. It's the only event we do with a proper audience, because you're right there underneath the. So even if you're not going to race, come along and provide, shall I say, advice. So get a beverage and stand on the deck and provide advice to the sailors. They really appreciate it.
Yes, it's much more civilized than it used to be. About 15 years ago, there used to be slingshots set up on the top deck, and water balloons were fired at any of the people within range, which was almost everyone at the start. And I guess we've got a little bit more civil since then. We aren't doing that anymore. But that's a really fun race, and it's a great way to spend a Saturday afternoon in August. The second item that I'll refer to is the Bring on the Bay Swim, and it is something that both Tony and I are very much involved in. I don't know if anybody has seen 800 people all swimming together in the water. The water actually turns muddy brown where they all jump in after the first 300 or 400 jump in. It's just that much turmoil. And I don't know if you've ever stood at the side of a swamp and thrown in a piece of bread and watched all the carp come up to the top and thrash around to try and get it. It almost looks like that with all these people all trying to be first and not second and not third and so on. So in any case, we need about 35 boats anchored, one every 100 meters along the race course, both the 1,500 meter race and the 3,000 meter race. And so we'll be looking for some people that want to sit there, drink their coffee, and look over the side and cheer people along. I will note that in past, there's been at least one swimmer that got a bit tired, came over and got up and had coffee and sat there and got warm for a while. So you might also be asked to provide coffee. This is roughly speaking from 7:30 in the morning until 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, July 16th. So again, I don't think you'll ever see as many people at the boat club as you do that particular morning. And if you sleep in, you'll miss it all. So look forward to seeing you there. So
And
I'm
indeed,
going
indeed.
to look here now for some questions.
Kayaks too. I think that's my son there helping with the support kayak to
Yes,
help with the escort.
I believe he was there.
Yeah.
So in fact, this is the question here. Are all the dates for the different events on the website scheduled already?
Yes, they are. Apart from those 2 or 3 where I said I need help before we can actually launch them. Yes, they are. So if you look at the NSC calendar, you will find it's very thorough and well organized, and it has those dates there. It's much better that you find it there, not that I put them in the PowerPoint, because if they change, they'll change on the calendar. So yes, they're all there, including every single Tuesday evening race, for example. That's all there. The date for Baskins Beach is okay. That one may or may not be there. I can't remember. Bring on the Bay, that's there, for example. So yes, they are there. Apart from this couple where we need some volunteers before we can implement.
Very good, Dominic. And I will be sending out requests for help for the Bring on the Bay swim probably in another few weeks, and it'll show up in the Telltale. One other item, Dominic, in your particular portfolio, at one time there was a spot on under the west awning where people would go down to their boats. You could sit there and hope for a place on a boat. It's basically a crew bank where you actually sit and wait till a needy skipper comes along. Is that still available?
Yes, it is still available. I've used that myself in prior years before I bought a big boat. Yes, the sign is still up. That's hopefully people will be more inclined to do that this year, since since attitudes to our health situation have somewhat changed. So yes, they are. I would, however, advise. I would advise 2 things. First off, the more if you want to go out, try and grab a ride on a Tuesday evening or a Thursday evening at the West Lawn Tent, or Wednesday evening in the dinghy yard. The more nautical you look, the better. Wear the gear. Look like you're the girl or the guy who totally is what they know. It sends the right impression. People are more likely to pick you up. So wear the gear. Say, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to sail. Also, walking the docks at 5 o'clock. Between 5 o'clock and 5:20 can be quite effective. You simply go out to the boats, look like they're going out to race, and say, "Hey, you or anybody looking for a body?" So that's actually probably more effective than sitting there waiting. Yes, you can totally try it. I don't promise it'll work, but we're going to lean on the racers a bit to pick up people because it's to their benefit in the long run to get more people playing. So we're going to go back and lean on the races a bit to pay more attention to that. But yeah, we're back, and I think it'll be easier this year to do that.
To amplify what Dominic has just said, when I was working, I was often in Toronto overnight on a Tuesday or Wednesday evening. And I packed with me my sailing gloves and went to Bluffers Park. And I sat there. And as soon as you held up the sailing gloves, people said, "Oh, would you like to go sailing? You know, I need a crew."
Totally. Show up in your gloves, your sailing hat,
That's right.
your glasses clipped on. You say, "Oh, that person looks like they know what the hell they." Even if you're a noob, don't worry. Just go to the Channel Rim, spend a few bucks, so you look like you know what you're doing. Yep.
Yeah, so it does work. They took even me, so no problems. From what I can see, many of the volunteer positions require experience. Is that correct?
Yes and no. All right. Race committee volunteering. So race committee volunteering, we assume that you really don't know very much. So that is an on the water volunteering opportunity for people who it's a requirement for for boats that race must provide a certain number of heads across the season, just so we can get all the slots filled. But it's totally available to people with who feel comfortable on a smaller boat on the water. The Andy Hayden's 27 foot, so it's not so small, and the Triumph 17. The Islamorada is a 21 foot open plan speedy boat that goes around. So you'll be at least comfortable to go on one of those boats. The larger boat is fairly large, but you don't need high skill to do that. Some of the jobs are fairly straightforward, like simply calling out clock time and this kind of thing. If you do want to skill up, we have those training activities that I mentioned to grow your skills, and we have both fairly formal ones here, but we're also going to have all of these are fairly formal. Also, we're going to have a less formal Mark laying fun evening later in the August. First and base levels.
Yeah, I think when I was racing earlier, I would often take a person who in many cases said, "No, I don't have experience," but it's not required to start to have experience.
Right. I think the question is more about volunteering opportunities, and I would say a great place to start for on the water. Even if you're not high school, is race committee volunteering. Just search for RC volunteer sign up on the website, and there's a sign up sheet, and you can book your date, and we welcome you.
Well, you have essentially a professional, a race bosun in charge.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. There's a professional race bosun who runs the operation on the water on each boat, who's our trained professional staff member. And then you support them. You basically, if they say tie a knot here, you tie a knot there. If they say write down this set of times, you write down the set of times. But yeah.
As long as you have no difficulty with the teenager telling you what to do,
absolutely,
you can do it. So
yeah, we have a very skilled professional staff team now.
Right. Now there was a question about the cost to join NSC. And really, I can't deal with that here because I don't know what the answer is. But there is an item, I believe, in the website that says the average cost to join and the average cost annually. But I don't have it in front of me.
Yeah, I'm not going to attempt to answer that one live. I would urge them to go to the website, click literally this button, the Join NSC button. And it'll go through the precise membership schedule for different types of membership. There's like a full member who has the right to have a boat in the harbor or the yard and has certain privileges. And there's a crewing membership, which provides you the ability to go on someone else's boat on a regular basis, and certain other categories of students and so on, very cheap for students, are listed there. So you can find that there. So I think rather than recite that, probably best to go there. And our membership director, Erin, will be, or indeed our front office is highly skilled in answering that question. So I defer you to the front office room.
Very good. Yeah, I think that's the best way to deal with that.
Yeah, and questions around the costs of putting a boat in the harbor and whether there's a waiting list and all that kind of stuff. If you go to the contacts and look for the office contact, Jamie is the expert on all these matters.
Right. Okay. Let me see if we have any other questions or chat. Okay. Okay. On the chat, the last item, there's a link to a schedule of fees at the bottom of the page. So, I mean, that will give you sort of like an outline of what it is, but it's probably best to talk to somebody at the club. Make sure that you know what you're asking for, because
Totally.
if you don't have a boat and you just want to sail, then you can get a crewing membership and it's relatively inexpensive.
Right. So actually, looking back through the chat is where the organizing team here has been posting some information. So if you guys or the participants go look at the chat, you'll see links to quite a lot of the activities that we talked about tonight, or you can find them on the main Winter Speaker Series talk page where this evening was advertised. Yeah, you'll see a link to the tonight's presentation, which you can download the whole thing as a PDF and look at it later. So that we've posted, and the calendar link and so on. But yeah, this whole presentation has been posted. You guys can pick it up from the channel.
I'd like to thank you very much for coming out tonight, Dominic. Don't go away yet. You're trying to skip away. We appreciate you coming and talking, both for Nepean Sailing Club, but also just to tell many of the other people and other clubs around the Lac Deschenes the types of programs, the joint sailing programs that exist, both for Aylmer and for Britannia. So you've covered everything extremely well. We appreciate that. Now, because of or for, you know, as a token of our gratitude for what you've done, I wanted to put this, we have this, we can get that for you, and all you have to do is go and see Jamie. Now, if you think that tonight's rain is going to turn to snow, then we have this choice. And this is for the winter version. This is the Frostbite series version. And there's also a black one. So your choice, go and see Jamie and get whichever one you think is most appropriate. But I certainly hope it's the ball cap. I think I've had enough of snow.
Oh, totally. My ball cap from NSC is used regularly. So good to have a backup in case that one goes in the water.
That's right. These come, I think somebody thought about that, you know, it's one of the few ball caps that come with a lanyard. And I tell you, it's really worthwhile. There's so many ball caps at the bottom of Lac Deschenes. Any case, thank you very much again, Dominic, and appreciate your talk. So for everybody else, remember, we're going to be back next winter. So if you'd like to speak, or if you know someone who has a story or experience that you want to share, please contact any one of us. And as I said before, just like on TV, it's rerun time. So if you want to refer back to any of the talks that we've had this year or the year before, 2 years ago, just search Nepean Sailing Club on YouTube. So see you next season. Stay safe, stay well, and fair winds. And thanks for being here. Good night to everyone.